8 years ago to the month, an acquaintance at the time, who is now a very good friend, sat a book in my lap that would change the trajectory on how I view reality. Now, at the time this book was set in my lap, I had a Christian background that I was not studying at all. I had let that go in my teens. And with regards to the message that we're in right now, I had heard of Buddhism and Zen and Hinduism, but I had no idea what they were, and I had zero interest in them. This book is entitled The Open Secret, and it's written by Tony Parsons. And Tony Parsons has been delivering this message for 30 years now, or maybe even longer. The message that he delivers is known as Neo-Advaita. Well, again, when this book was set in my lap, I had no idea what that even meant. In fact, as I read the book, I had no idea what it was actually saying. What I did realize, though, is that somewhere within me, the message was saying that it's important. Whatever was in this book was important, and that I needed to continue to dive into this message to see what it was all about. Well, I spent 4.5 years in the Neo-Advaita realm because I had no idea anything else existed. I had never heard of the direct path or Ramana Maharshi or Advaita Vedanta. Now, I might have heard Advaita here and there, but there was nowhere for me to turn to understand what that meant. And to be honest, this message of Neo-Advaita drove me quite bonkers because it's a very shallow message. It does not dive deep into the mechanics of reality, of what an ego is, how it arises, and how we eliminate it. It just says simple things like, this is it, you don't exist, you don't need to do anything. I mean, it can drive you crazy, and I'm sure some of you have seen YouTube channels that are dedicated to the negative outcomes that can come from Neo-Advaita. But I want to make it clear that the message is not wrong. The message in this book is correct. It's just on such a very shallow level that it's hard for the aspirant to understand it or want how to get it. I mean, I just reread this book again last summer to see what it was all about, 7 years prior till. And Tony he's spot on in his general message. I mean, let me read you a passage here. Essentially, the realization of enlightenment brings with it the sudden comprehension that there is no one and nothing to be enlightened. Enlightenment simply is. It cannot be owned, just as it cannot be achieved or won like some trophy. All and everything is oneness, and all that we do is get in its way by trying to find it. Yes, but if that's as deep as the message goes, it's going to drive new aspirants a bit crazy. And it wasn't until I encountered Advaita Vedanta in basically the summer of 2020 that it completely changed my life, because the message is just so full of love and completeness. The following clip is from a non-duality session that I recently had. Now, because I had been in the Neo-Advaita realm for so long, the moment somebody starts talking, I can tell where they're coming from. I can tell if they've heard it from Tony Parsons or Jim Newman or Kenneth Madden, any of those Neo-Advaita teachers. And I know where they're coming from. They're lost and they're confused because they're not getting enough substance out of that message. And this aspirant was one of those. She was confused that she doesn't exist, and that's confusing because that's what she's heard, yet she knows herself to be existing. And so I bring that to light, and then I demonstrate to her that she's in the right message now with Advaita Vedanta, and that Advaita is nothing but the encapsulation of love, and you are that love. Take care.
So, I got introduced to this concept of non-duality about a couple of months ago. And since then, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos trying to understand and apply it in my life. And I somehow feel like, it's kind of very dry concept. Like, it's like, I feel like, okay, I don't exist. Nothing around me is the way it looks like or it appears like. And then I somehow feel like, there is no element of love or like belongingness kind of into it. Like it's like very exclusive. It is inclusive in that like everything is one, but I don't know. I kind of find it hard to relate to that aspect of it.
Yeah, there's a saying that when you come into non-duality that you hear a lot, and it's you don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And there is truth to it, but there's falsity to it as well. Your being, what is being pointed to in non-duality, especially Advaita Vedanta, is that you are existence itself. What doesn't exist is the ego. And so, depending on who you hear saying this and what school that you're coming from, if you're coming from like Neo-Advaita, you're going to hear that a lot, that you don't exist. And it seems like a nihilistic message. I mean, I know because I came from Neo-Advaita. I mean, this just came into, all of a sudden it was sitting in my lap. Somebody put like a Neo-Advaita book in my lap like 8 or 9 years ago. And I had no idea what any of this was about. And so I just started reading and, like Tony Parsons and Jim Newman, that message. And there's truth to that message, but it doesn't go deep enough with explanation. It just leaves the mind in this place of like, okay, I don't exist. There's nothing to do. You're already there. And you're like, okay, I'm in. I'm buying it. Give me the punchline. Tell me how to get there, so to speak. And what Advaita says is that you are existence. Because right now you exist and you absolutely know you exist. Right?
Right.
Yeah, it's self-evident that your existence is the truth. It's truthful, at least. And what Advaita says is in that knowingness of your own existence is bliss, is love, is happiness and peace and wholeness and contentment. It's satisfaction, fulfillment, all of these qualities that we're after in life. And coming into the Advaita teachings, that is all that is being pointed to, is the happiness that you're seeking, is the, which is absent in Neo-Advaita. Right? The message of love is not in Neo-Advaita. It might be mentioned occasionally, I will say that, but it is not the sole understanding and reason of why you're in this message. And the message says you, your being, your essence, your awareness is yourself, and that is happiness. So I understand where you're coming from. I totally understand that. And it wasn't until I found Advaita where it just opened. I'm like, oh my, this is it. This is all about ever-present happiness. It's nothing. It's really about nothing else but how you experience yourself. Because we all want to experience this in a happy, peaceful state. Because we've felt like we've lost something. We're looking for something. We know we're this unconditional love. Right? When we sit with ourselves and we're honest with ourselves, we're like, I know this to be the truth. But how do I get back to that? And that's what we do here. We talk about the path back to that. And it's counterintuitive, the path. It's a destinationless journey on a pathless path. Because it says you already are this. Your job is to remember that you're already this. This is not a nihilistic message. This is not solipsism or any of those other life-denying messages. So you're in the right realm of non-duality now. In Advaita Vedanta, which says you are the love you seek.